It's professional sports, so you understand that it's cyclical and guys move on, they transition. Rarely do people end up in the same uniform that they started with. So it's a thing that you expect. But some guys you feel like, he should have been a Red Sox for his entire career.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I was just thinking about that 2018 team for a second, all those players that you mentioned that were part of that before 2018, during 2018, and a little bit after 2018. I mean, all those guys are gone now, except with the exception of Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
Rafi's the only one that's still there from those years, and it really was the end of an era. And I was thinking about it when you were talking about Xander and securing the bag in San Diego, the big deal. I think it was 290 over 11 years, which really raised a lot of eyebrows. People didn't expect him to
Yeah.
sign for that much money. That includes the Red Sox, I think, when they were talking about, maybe bringing him back to Boston. But, you never blame the player for that, right? I mean, there are three things, right? There's the business of baseball, there's the game of baseball, and then there's the human element of it, as you were talking about it, right? It's like, you know, two of those things are really out of the player's control, right? The off the field stuff is something that's in their controls. The game of baseball, it is in their control, right? How they perform. So it's really the one thing that's out of their control. It's the business of baseball. It's the contracts. It's the money. It's what teams want to pay you, what teams don't want to pay you, and what you think your value is worth. And obviously, Xander's value, was high here. He meant a lot to people here in Boston. But at the end of the day, it was San Diego that was going on a shopping spree and picking up all these guys,
Yeah.
spending all the money on them. But I was wondering, Jemai, and again, like saw your conversation and saw the media scrum, saw how he was with the media. It didn't seem like there was any bitterness towards the Red Sox in his comments. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I asked him that question actually. I said, now that you've returned here, because again, last season in 23, he was healthy, fully healthy. He was playing with San Diego, and the Red Sox were there at Petco Park playing the Padres. But coming back home, so to speak, quote unquote, it's a different feel. Like you're coming back to the place where you came up. I mean, he debuted here again. He was signed here as a teenager, right? So I asked him, does this kind of bring a completion to your chapter as a member of the Red Sox? And he's like, yeah, I think so. I think now I can say, you know, that was a great part. No hard feelings. He mentioned it, no hard feelings because of that business side aspect. He felt like both sides, there was no animosity during his signing or the lack thereof of his contract extension. He feels like this is now full circle for him. So he's ready to begin or continue this next half of his career. But this was one of those things where he had to experience it to feel it, the emotion, and having that standing ovation and playing a video tribute of all his best moments ever as a member of the Red Sox. I mean, think about this when he was wearing number 72 in 2013. You know how guys, when they
Yeah.
first come up, they don't have really solid numbers. So it was all those things. And then winning World Series twice, during his time here, and all the accolades and everything that he accomplished. And it feels like now he can kind of put that behind him and start focusing on what they're doing in San Diego. And they're a team that's playing really well right now. It seems like this offense is hitting on all cylinders. So he was eager to get back in it. And he's going to have an MRI here when they transition over to Texas and just see where he's at. But he said he feels great. And the thing is healing pretty good. But um, it'll be a challenge, I guess, to probably find that rhythm for him again. But Xander, he always seems to figure it out.
Yeah, he does. And I was thinking about number 72 and thinking about the current Red Sox roster. You know, David Hamilton's wearing number 70, right? And you think
Yeah,
about players like that who come up and, they go through speed bumps. I think Jaron Duran is a perfect example of that, right? A guy who had issues on the field, some issues off the field, dealing with mental health, overcoming those, becoming a very successful player. David Hamilton, when he was first called up, looked overwhelmed a little. Now he's catching up to the speed of the game a little bit. We'll see how things play out for him over time, but he's looked really good so far. And you can say that about some other young players as well. And I think that's sort of leading to my next question for you, Jemai. In terms of covering the Red Sox and covering athletes over the years, and when you cover a team for an extended period of time, you see the same faces year in and year out. And in this case, since we're talking about Xander Bogaerts, watching his maturity and growth over the years, right? And so I started covering him as soon as he got called up to Boston in 2013, and I was in your position for a couple of years on and off, traveling with the team, watching his growth and development on the field, slowly becoming one of the stars on the Red Sox roster. It was really fun to watch. How much fun is it for you to see some of these young players now, watch them sort of come up, go through some struggles, and now experience success?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see that turnaround. And you mentioned Jaron Duran, and it's crazy to see where he has taken his game. You think about missing some fly balls a couple years ago and having a complete meltdown in Kansas City, and then Raimel Tapia hitting a inside the park home run after he misplayed that fly ball that went over his head and kind of just watched it and stared, to becoming the player, the leader, and the athlete that he is for this team. He really is a table setter. So he's done so much great things for this team, and he should be an all-star. Hopefully we find out in short time what that situation looks like for him. But to see the turnaround is great because you understand the hard work that these guys put in every single day, showing up. It is a major grind to be on the baseball schedule and to have a body that's able to withhold 80 plus games at this point consecutively is impressive in this day and age, even though the pitch clock has, added years to my career, and, it's going to certainly add years to these people as well who are actually playing the game on the field. But man, to see his turnaround has been great. And then David Hamilton, I mean, he came up and seemed like he was playing, with concrete in his feet. So not playing fast, kind of playing a little bit timid. And now to see what he's been able to turn into, almost hitting 300 now, and he's hitting for power. He's hitting line drives all over the ballpark. Has been great too. And that's kind of what this Red Sox team has been. They're getting these contributions from a lot of these young guys, which is contributed to a lot of where they are right now, in a position to be buyers as a trade deadline fastly approaches. So I don't know if I say I didn't fully expect this, but I thought this team would compete because the Hefe at the helm, Alex Cora, he's going to be a guy who is going to get the best out of his players and maximize their talent 100%. But what they're doing right now has been impressive, and they're teetering, just a bit over 500. So it's all due because of what these young guys have been able to do. And like I said, Jaron Duran has been that. David Hamilton has been that. Emmanuel Valdez has been that since he got called up, or recalled, I should say, about a month ago. He's been just hitting the daylights out of the baseball. His defense has improved. So Will Abreu, also another guy who's doing fantastic stuff. So to watch the development, it's been great. It's been great for sure, and makes it a lot more exciting because you get a lot more competitive games, and these guys have been playing really well lately, with the exception of, I guess, the last two games that San Diego has come in here. So it's just a part of the ebbs and flows of a season. You can never get too high. You never get too low. You kind of just ride the wave and see where it takes you.
Yeah, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It has been a lot of fun to watch the young players and their evolution. And and I was thinking as you were talking, because you are so close to the team, because you travel with the team, you're there in the team hotels, you're there every day with the team, and you mentioned the young players, and we're getting to know them on the baseball field and seeing their maturation. But is there anybody that sort of stood out to you personality wise that you didn't know as well, maybe coming into the year, that you're getting to know a little bit better, and you're saying, oh man, that guy's funny, or that guy knows how to handle this business, or man, that guy's got some serious swagger? Is there anything that you can share with us about a particular player that sort of fits that category?
Yeah, that's a great question that you asked. And now you got me racking my brain to think about this one. I mean, it's always the usual suspects. The Tristan Casas, of course, this guy's incredible, and he's super funny. But actually, you know what? Not a young guy, but a guy that is not even playing right now, but it will be back maybe in a few weeks, hopefully, for making a couple rehab starts. That's Liam Hendricks is pretty hilarious.